What if I told you in just 6 months you can change and transform everything regarding your finance? In this video, I'm gonna be showing you a blueprint, the Alpha Blueprint, to get control of your financial destiny, and it's step by step. And I want you to understand one thing. When you control your financial destiny, you will remove all the financial stress. And the most importantly is to live a life that you want and you deserve. So let's dive into the first step, which is, I call it month number 1. In a very simple term, month number 1 is, I want you to define what does it mean a rich life for you. And a rich life, when I mention rich life here, I don't mean the society norms nor the Instagram stories and posts. A rich life here is not about flashy cars, big houses, unless it matters to you or it brings you joy. Maybe the rich life here means spending time with your family, going on vacations, performing your hobbies. That's really a rich life. So the first thing I want you to define in month 1, what does it mean rich life to you? Why do I mean rich life and why I want you to define it? It's very simple, because that's where you're gonna spend money. So the number 1, you're gonna define what's rich life for you. Number 2, I want you to check your finances and see where you spend money on things that doesn't matter to you. And number 3, I want you to also analyze your finances and see in your spending habits, are you spending money on things that doesn't really matter to you? That's called auditing. We are auditing your finances, and plus putting a vision for what is called a rich life for you. I love a saying that says that don't tell me what you value, show me your budget and I'll tell you what you value. That's a very important quote to make you understand what does that mean in identifying your rich life. And I want you to imagine looking at your money spendings in a form of money dials. You know the stereo. So you have a money dial to turn up and money dial to turn down. I want you to turn up the money dial on the things that brings you joy, that you really enjoy and it matters to you. And turn it down, the money dial, when you absolutely spend money on things that doesn't matter to you. So the first step, the first month in the Alpha Blueprint is what? To define your rich life. Let's now go to the second more important thing in the blueprint, which is actually still in month number 1. We've spoken about in month number 1 is to define what's rich life for you, the volume up and volume down part. The second thing is to master what is called conscious spending plan. And what do I mean by a conscious spending plan? Conscious spending plan is a tool that makes sure that your money works for you and not the opposite way. Not you work for money, but the money that you make works for you. So that's in a very simple way, or in a nutshell. You have to divide your income bucket into 4 separate buckets. The first one is your, I would say, fixed costs. The second one is your investments. The third one is your savings. And the fourth one is the guilt-free spending. So once you have your income, you will divide it into what? Again, 4 buckets. Number 1, these are the fixed costs. This is amount of money that takes the chunk of your income. That's usually between 50 and 60%. These are your rent, your car loans, your utilities, your groceries. These are the amount of money that you have to pay every single month. And that's a bucket which we call the fixed cost. It's actually the biggest chunk you have. That's between 50 and 60%. So whatever money you make, you chunk it down, 50-60%, it goes to the fixed cost. Then we go to the second bucket, which is the investments. These are the 5 and 10% from your take-home pay or your income. So it's between 5 and 10%. These are the money that you put it in retirement funds, index funds, and that's here where the wealth grows. So that's gonna be an important one we're gonna be talking about. Then the third one is the saving bucket. That's an extremely important one. Why? And it comes from the name. It saves you. Because the first thing in the saving bucket, which is usually goes between 5 and 10% as well, is that you create what we call an emergency fund. That's a fund. When shit hits the fan, it protects you. Again, imagine that you're in a castle and the wall of the castle is this emergency fund. So whatever attacks you have from outside, this wall protects you. So that's the third bucket, savings. And the fourth bucket, which is the guilt-free spending, because we live to enjoy our life. So you have to have a bucket which is called guilt-free, which is around like 20 to 35% that you spend it on the things that you love, that matters to you and that you enjoy. And I want you to think about this kind of conscious spending is like GPS for money. You know exactly each dollar goes where. You can't make money if you don't know each dollar or penny or whatever currency you deal with goes where. So it's a GPS of money. There is a lovely quote that says, do not save what is left after spending, but spend what is left after saving. So what I want you to do is very simple. I want you to write down what's your monthly income. Then 2, I want you to divide it into 4 buckets. What are the buckets again? These are the fixed costs, the saving, the investments, and the guilt-free. Number 3, I want you to review your spending habits among these 4 categories. And that's gonna be the end of month 1 in the Alpha Blueprint, which is to have a conscious spending plan. So now, at the end of month 1, you're gonna be a winner. Why? Because you have defined what's a rich life for you. Then the second thing is you're gonna have what? The conscious spending plan based on these 4 buckets. Let's move to month 2 and the next step into your financial freedom. The next step, or month 2, is I want you to build the financial moat. Again, I gave this example before. The financial moat is as if you are in a fortress or in a castle and you have a wall to protect you against the things which are unpredictable. We live in a society, or in a world, job losses happens like this, crisis happens like this. You need to be protected. And once you're protected, trust me, your decision-making ability will go high because you don't have stress. So in month 2, we're prepping you to have protection against the unpredictability of the world that we live in. And that goes with the number 1 thing, which is building your emergency fund. In a simple word, what is an emergency fund? An emergency fund is, if you go back to what we spoke about, which is the fixed cost bucket, which takes between 50 to 60% of your take-home pay, the emergency fund is equal to 3 to 6 months of your fixed costs. And that's an emergency fund. That's some money, you put it aside, you never touch it unless shit hits the fan. So the first thing what you need to do is build your emergency fund. 3 to 6 months. It's not gonna build right on the spot. Each and every time you put aside the money, which is split based on the buckets we discussed, you put it part of it in the emergency fund. Start to build your emergency fund step by step until you have 3 to 6 months of covering your fixed costs. Once you're protected, your fortress is safe. You need now to attack the devil of money. What is the devil of money? Is debt. The high interest rate debts, which are, for example, the credit cards. Let me tell you one thing. In credit cards, the interest rates, if you fail to pay on time, can take you on roughly, depends on country to country, 25 years to pay a credit card amount. That's the devil. So once you build the emergency fund, or you are building it, in parallel, you need to attack the devil, which are the debts, high interest debts. Let's give a quick overview. How can you make that? Because I love a method called the avalanche method. The avalanche method tells you to what? I want you to list down all your debts. Credit cards. So credit card number 1, that's the amount. That's the annual interest rates. That's the minimum payment that is required for the cards. So once you list these all from the highest to lowest, and then you assign and distribute your money from the income pay that you get, and you put it in the payment for the credit cards or high interest debts, first of all, you will pay the minimum amount. You go through, for example, if you have 4 credit cards, so you go pay the 4 minimum amounts on each credit card. But to tell you, if you just pay the minimum amount, you're screwed. Based on the distribution that you did, you will have a small amount of money left. And this small amount of money, you will put it in the highest interest rate of the card. And that's the method called the avalanche method. Again, you will list the credit cards, you will list the interest rates and the minimum amounts. First thing, you pay the minimum amounts. The second thing is what? The leftover of the money that you allocated, you pay the highest interest until you destroy the devil of money, which is debts. But don't get me wrong, because there are good debts and there are bad debts. Bad debts are credit card interest rates, money on things that doesn't matter to you. Other good debts could be a mortgage rate or a mortgage that you have that the interest rate is very low. In some countries it exists. So define what is a good debt and a bad debt. Utilize a good debt and screw a bad debt using the avalanche method. There is a lovely quote that says debt is like any other trap. It's very easy to get in, but it's super hard to get out. So you need to get control over your debt. So again, what action steps you can do from here? Number 1, I want you to calculate your monthly essentials, the fixed costs that you have, and then calculate 3 to 6 months to create an emergency fund and starting allocating money to that. And once this is done and you structured it in a way, next you move to attacking the debts using the avalanche method. Once you've done all these and you reach month number 2, we're gonna go to month number 3, which is extremely important because that thing will save you a lot of time. And we live in an era where time is always money, which means when you save time in something, that you can put your time in something that's really valuable to you and makes you more money, which is, I want you to automate your wealth. I mean, by automating your wealth, it means that I'm removing any human error, and at the same time, I am eliminating any decision or mental fatigue that comes with financial burdens. So you know that whenever the income comes to you, it's gonna be transferred to the accounts relevant to it. It's either the investment accounts, saving accounts, the accounts for guilt-free, the accounts for saving. So it's very simple. You go to the bank account that you get your income to it, and then create several and separate accounts for all these things. And you give a command to your bank account on a particular date that you make sure that the money comes in, that all these things happens automatically. X% goes to the investment, X% goes to saving, X% goes to the fixed cost and covering all the fixed cost and the guilt-free. By removing all these from your head, you will 100% will not have any human errors. Number 2, all the decision fatigues will be gone. And when you look at this as if you are using the sprinkler for your garden, which means you set it up once, and then what happens? It keeps watering your garden forever until you change it without lifting a finger. That's exactly how automation helps in your financial, I would say, destiny. You need to use automation because not every 5 minutes you need to go to your bank account, make a transfer, go to your bank account, make a transfer, depending on what comes to your face. Automate based on the plan we spoke about in the conscious expanding. Let's go to month number 4, which I want you to do one important thing, is I want you to conquer the money psychology. And what do I mean by the money psychology is that I want you to conquer your limiting beliefs, break your limiting beliefs, and I want you to align your mindset with your financial goals that you want. All of us, depending on the culture we grew in, the families that raised us, the environment that we lived in, the schools that we went, we already have limiting beliefs about money within us, that money is the root of all evil. I need to earn more in order to save and invest. That's the most bullshit I've heard, because you can start to invest even with $20, $30, $40. And I'll never have enough money. There is no enough money in the world. These are all limiting beliefs that you need to break and need to narrate it in a way that is a positive belief. It's not a limiting belief. Number 2, you need to change your mindset from that perspective. And I want to give an example about a lens of a camera. If the lens of the camera is clear, which is your mindset, you'll be able to see the financial picture extremely clear. So always remember, your mindset is like the lens. Once the lens is clear, you're gonna get to your financial goals that you set for yourself. So a couple of things you need to remember. Number 1, I want you to write your limiting beliefs about money. Everybody has limiting beliefs, like money doesn't grow on trees. All this bull that we've heard over the time. Number 2, I want you to challenge the negative beliefs and replace them with positive ones. And number 3, which is important and a lot of people doesn't talk about it, and I had it recently, is to what you call have money dates. Each of us are in a relationship. Both partners in this relationship must have money dates, must talk about their challenges with money. They need to speak about how they getting through it and what are their goals, both from a money standpoint. So always set money dates to talk with your partners and get on the same boat with it. It makes things much more easier to row in the same direction. Let's go to month number 5, which is very simple. I want you to negotiate like an alpha. There's a lot of people mistake negotiation with weakness or with being broke, but actually it is not. You're building your wealth. So I want you to negotiate everything that comes through your way, which means if you're an employee, I want you to negotiate your salary, but don't be an idiot and just negotiate it for the sake of negotiation. You're negotiating it based on what you've done, what you will do, and that's the negotiation. I want you to negotiate your credit cards rates with the banks. Have the guts and the balls to speak to the bank and say like, I will pay, but I need a better rate. What is the maximum they can do? They're gonna say no, it's fine. You lost nothing. Let me tell you, I've done this a lot in my life. And once they know that you're going away, you're running, you're leaving, even for your subscription models, once they feel that you're leaving, you're gonna get discounts right away. And that's not being stingy. That's being intentional about your money. So again, I want you to negotiate like an alpha. Whatever comes into your way, negotiate. You need to cut expenses and increase your income. Negotiate to cut your expenses and negotiate to increase your income. And always remember, negotiate like an alpha. And there is a lovely quote that I love that says, you get in life what you have the courage / the balls to ask for. Let's move to month number 6 and the last month. But congratulations that you reached month 6, because 90% of people doesn't even pass month 2. A lot of people just spend money for the sake of money and they don't even have the rich life vision. So when you reach month 6, congratulations, you are real and alpha. So what is month 6? Is to scale your rich life. What do I mean by scaling your rich life? Is to have a complete regular audit of your financial situation and destiny. Which means I want you to set once a month to review all the spending plans, what you have achieved from the goals financially. That's once per month. And the second thing is, life evolves. Which means even your rich life vision could change over time. So that's why I'm telling you, within 6 months, I want you also to look at the rich life vision that you put in month 1 and review it. It is still your rich life vision or not, or it changed or it evolved. There is no problem. So these are the 2 things to scale your rich life. Number 1, a monthly audit, review. Maybe things needs to be adjusted. Number 2, within 6 months, every half a year, you review your life rich life vision. Maybe it evolved, maybe a lot of things changed in your life. You need to incorporate it, because what follows your vision, it what makes your financial destiny. The most important thing is, the secret of getting started is to what? Is to start. That's why when we were talking in the beginning of the video, and we said a lot of people think that they're not able to invest. Or when we've spoken about the limiting beliefs, that you need to earn money in order to be able to save money. These are all BS, an absolute BS. You need to have this muscle in you trained, automated. If you want to save, that's a particular percentage that goes to the saving account right away. So the secret to getting ahead is to start. So start. So within this video, I covered for you the Alpha Blueprint to control and have a great financial destiny for you, for your loved one, for your family. Start now. Take the first step. Because the problem is 90% of people don't even care or know or have the courage to take the first step. And once you implement all the blueprint which comes in a 6-month period, you can be a Superman and make it in a month. Congratulations. But for the people who wants to take it slow, just start, take the first step. And I'm positive your financial destiny will be much more than you even expect, because the lovely thing about money is what goes in one law, which is compounding. Everything that you're doing compounds with money. So take the first step and build your financial destiny with the Alpha Blueprint. And I'm gonna see you in the next video. Be an Alpha.